Good evening. As usual, I have Alison, my cross honey badger. And just for this episode, I have Bearing and Sugartits, my cross two bears. Fuck you, that's a good joke. It's worth doing once every 4 years.
So, I'm going to review what guys look for in girls.
Ooh, I know. Themselves?
You again. I like the way your hair falls daintily over your breasts. Is that what guys look for in girls, Savannah? Would it be less sexist if I said, cut that shit into a bowler hat, I want to see your tits?
Hey, you should meet my girlfriend Sugartits. She does slam poetry.
I mean, the only thing a straight man is allowed to do with a woman's hair is hold it back while she's puking, surely. Does that make me sound like a nice guy? Or just even more of a date rapist? Or are they basically the same thing? Well, am I right? They're all either toxic masculine rapists or nice guy rapists. What? We don't hate men. What are you talking about? This is science. Yeah, heathen. Hey, Savannah, mate. What's the biggest one you've ever had?
When I first learned that no one could ever love me more than me, a world of happiness previously unseen was discovered.
When you first learned that no one could love you so what, you found out that you were a narcissist? Okay. Well, I guess we just need to get you a bathroom with a mirror and your life will be complete.
Good rule of thumb. If you spend hours in the bathroom, you're probably not oppressed. I mean, unless it's by your own bowels. Yeah, if you wear makeup, you're probably not oppressed. Well, okay, if you choose to wear makeup, you're probably not oppressed. If you're actually forced to wear makeup and dance for a bunch of shady characters, then you probably are oppressed. You're also probably a boy. It's hard to say just how ironic it is, Savannah, that you, entirely by your own agency, achieve the same aesthetic end result as a dancing Filipino boy in a very musty Middle Eastern basement. Are you trying to look like a slave boy? Or are they making up the slave boys to look like you? Your problem, Savannah, is you're stuck on the third layer of Maslow's pyramid. You're convinced there's nothing higher than love and belonging, and that you'll never achieve self-esteem. And you might be right. That's what I thought. I still think, to some degree, I'm still standing in the second layer, leaning out of a window, trying to grapple my way up to the top. I just want self-actualization. I don't like the look of self-esteem or love and belonging. They both look ghastly to me. I've seen people playing those levels. They look fucking impossible. I'll break out the game genie. I don't care. I'm not doing it. But, Savannah, you're like steps away from self-esteem. The only thing holding you back is this fundamental misunderstanding you have of what belonging is.
Because somewhere along the line of aging and scrutiny and time, I was taught to despise myself.
Well, you must have gone to a fancy school. I did woodwork.
But I made sure I kept myself beautiful so someone would love me someday.
Wow, you're teeth are really fucking white. That means you've made a shit ton of effort to make them that white. Because that doesn't happen naturally.
Well, I mean, I find a fuckload of salmon and honey goes a long way to maintaining sexy white chompers. But the odd trip to the dentist just gives them that extra pop, you know?
So I could belong to someone someday because that's the most important thing a little girl could ever want, right?
Being loved, it's actually really important for humans.
Do you understand the connection between love and belonging? I get the feeling you don't, Savannah. Which would explain why you're the worst poet I've heard outside the kindergarten chamber on a Vogon constructor fleet. If I asked you, what does belonging mean? I get the feeling your answer might be, it's the objects that belong to me. Like this necklace and these bracelets, they're my belongings. Because that, Savannah, is the kind of thing you long for. Most people long for other people. And they long for other people's longing. And that's why they naturally group together in teams. Very often, teams of just two people. Because people love belonging to a team. We're a social species after all. I get the feeling you're one of those people who doesn't want to belong to a team. You're one of those people who just wants to be longed for.
I was 13 the first time I was embarrassed about my body. Of course, it would not be the last.
13? You made it 13 years before you were embarrassed about your body. When I was 7, I had trouble sleeping in the same room as a mirror. Actually scared of my own reflection, Savannah, or at least very freaked out by it. The first time I heard about the effects of LSD, I was like, yeah, and then what? Wait, is it... Do you guys... What?
I remember stuffing my bra in the morning, tears stinging my eyes.
Don't stuff your bra with onions. It's fucking stupid.
Hoping, praying to something that I could look beautiful enough to...
You are attractive already. You are attractive already. You just want to be more attractive. You're like a multi-millionaire getting bitchy about the fact that the billionaires exist. Just, it's unattractive.
Today, braces and all, for the ruthless boys who mercilessly told me I was worthless. 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 Worthless.
You seem really happy about that shit. You know, I'm going to tell you something horrible that happened to me when I was a kid. I'm not going to have an expression on my face like that. When I was a kid, I took a shop class. I was, I think, 14 at the time. I was not liked in that shop class. It was almost entirely male, and I understand now that, you know, entering male spaces is a tricky endeavor. But at one point in time, they essentially, the entire class, threw spitballs at me, like the entire class, and basically with the teacher's approval, because he could see that this was happening.
Bearing! If one spitball lands on Alison, no pussy for you, mister.
Fine, but I don't know why you've always got to bring pussy into it. You know how much I love this cat.
Yeah, well, don't test me, fucker. Or it's straight down to the lost animals shelter with him. Alison was nice enough to invite us onto this video. Don't fuck it up.
It was a really fucking uncomfortable situation.
I'm sorry, Alison.
Like, horrible. I'm not going to say something like that with a fucking grin on my face. I don't know who the fuck would.
In before anyone goes there, shop class. It's not the same as a war zone. Different kind of awkward. Life's complicated. And then you don't even die. And then you do.
Look at this sorry, Mike.
Quite all right. Do the face thing. I'm going to do one in a bit as well.
Look at this. She looks happy. She doesn't just look happy. She has an asymmetrical smile of moral superiority and self-contempt. Why are you so happy and contemptuous that you are a victim?
Because my boobs weren't big enough.
Okay. On the subject of body language, let's not let this one slide. The forever entitled expression. It's the only kind of shocked look, the only kind of surprised expression that takes no effect in the eyes. The eyes remain dead and cold, while the rest of the body ripples downward around them, leaving the arms dropped forward, the mouth hanging open, and the whole frame silently screaming, "Oh my God, I'm not getting what I want." Bitch, do you even realize you live in one of the only slivers of recorded history so far in which thin women are considered more attractive than fat women? Like, even if you're a fat chick, you still have no problems finding a chubby chaser, but if you're thin and petite, then you will command sexual attention like a supermodel, regardless of the size of your boobs. Do you have any idea how lucky you are? You have landed in the hair's breadth of history, in which thin, wealthy, white women are the most valuable people on earth. And you are complaining about being in that demographic. I'd say my mind is blown, but it's not. This is how it works. The least victimized people in any given empire, i.e. the most privileged people, they got that way in the first place by overplaying their victimhood. The people you hear squealing loudest about being victims are the people doing the victimizing. Because that is how you hack humans. We're weak like that. We're a sucker for a victim. Sad but true. The antivirus software for this shit does not appear to have evolved in us naturally. We've had to discover it through mimetic technology. But we're finally getting there. Pop quiz. Is this person a victim because of her gender? The correct answer is not necessarily. That is us getting somewhere.
And I would go home and put on a sweatshirt with my eyes closed, deny myself the right to be shown myself because I didn't dare want to insinuate beauty in regards to something so insulting as my body.
That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Get over yourself. You're a fucking multimillionaire, and there are women out there who are billionaires. Live with it.
Yeah, I reckon you've got to harden the fuck up. It could have been a lot worse.
But I mean, we all end up with our heads between our knees. We all end up with our heads between our knees.
I think... Settle down, you. I think you're trying to express what's often expressed in the term navel gazing. It's when you're so underproductive that you become narcissistic. Because there's nothing to gaze at except your own navel. It's a phrase way back from a time before mirrors were a typical household object. Can you imagine that? You probably can't, can you? But yeah, gazing at one's navel is what everyday run-of-the-mill narcissists do. Even everyday run-of-the-mill narcissists don't understand what you mean by ending up with your head between your knees. I mean, I literally can't do that. If I could, I would have wasted my life by now.
Because the only place we'll ever really feel safe is curled up inside skin we've been taught to hate by a society that shuns our awful confidence and feeds us our own flaws. And sometimes when I need to meet the me that loves me, I can't find her. A reminder that the mirror is meant to be a curse so I can find her in my mind. But when he or she shouts, "Let me out," we're allowed to listen.
What?
4.5
met by a chorus of conceited, egotistical narcissists.
Really? You know, I found that people who accuse other people of being narcissistic...
It's not quite a homological slur, but it might as well be, because a homological slur is something I thought of as a play on homological words. A homological word, or autological word, is a word that describes itself, the word itself, like the word small and the word English. Small is a small word, and English is an English word. Well, a homological slur, as invented by me, is a word that describes the person who used the word rather than the word itself. It's a word which, when used as a slur, enacts its own no you response. Words which are, to varying degrees, symptomatic of a state of projection. Like slanderer. If you call someone a slanderer, you are slandering them. I said it's to varying degrees. If you call someone a contrarian, it's usually to contradict their position. If you call someone a misogynist, it's probably because you see women not as humans but as scoreboards, which is probably your own description of misogyny. And if you call someone a cuck, it's because you measure men's worth by women's desires. Call anyone a cuck and you're on Team Gender Cucked. Game over. And an honorary mention for this category goes to the word narcissist. It's not quite the same, since to some degree it is considered a mental condition, and it would be undiagnosable by anyone but another mentally ill person. So, you know, let's not set up a Kafka trap. Let's say not everyone who calls narcissism is a narcissist, but people who genuinely are narcissistic will not hesitate to diagnose other people with it. It's their favorite thing to do. Like, if you prove them wrong in an argument, they'll go, "Oh, well, you're a narcissist." Because they know that word. And that it means bad thing. And narcissists cannot be bad things.
Yeah, you fucking narcissist.
Fuck you, narcissist.
Stop being such a fucking narcissist.
I'm not a narcissist, you're the one who's a narcissist.
You narcissist.
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 Cunt.
Since when was self-solicitude a sin?
What?
Since when was self-solicitude a sin?
Come again?
Since when was self-solicitude a sin?
Since when was Salsa... Since
when was self-solicitude a sin?
Salsa Strudel. After much deliberation, I'm going with Salsa Strudel. Since when was Salsa Strudel a sin? Well, Salsa Strudel's been a sin since 6 suns ago this spring, when you and Mary Sue made a stew of screwball soup. Now everything's a sin, we think, including the kitchen sink. Hurrah!
Since when was loving who we are made an offense by morons that don't matter?
If they're really morons that don't matter to you, then why do you give such a fuck about their perception of your beauty?
Change this physicality and that one. Don't you dare shatter the illusion that you could ever be anything beyond paper-fine flesh and flashy teeth and fingernails.
Look, it comes down to this. Kids are mean. There is a beauty ideal. If you are not vain and narcissistic, you should be able to allow people to be more beautiful than you. The end.
Code accusations of not good enough, never good enough. Have you ever felt so numb that it hurts?
You should probably like take a breath of like oxygen.
Entertain me.
You know what? You need to have a long talk with that so-called person inside you that loves you. Because I'm not seeing, like, All I'm saying is that you value yourself based on your appearance. Or, alternatively, you think everyone else around you values you only because of your appearance. Well, if you're saying that your self-love is so important, then the problem is solved. Because all you have to do is love something else about you aside from your appearance.
Whore.
Or not. No need to be rude. You fucking rapist.
You can't surrender to them.
That's the spirit.
You gotta remember you're the only thing you'll ever truly have. And no, I don't mean your body, because someday that'll go bad no matter what you do. I mean you.
Who, me?
I mean the way your bright eyes go wild when you smile and how your laughter's so melodic it's a song.
Oh, thank you. But that deteriorates too. Horribly. Your brain is going to turn into mush at some point. And you'd better hope your body's already dead by then. Dementia is a fucking terrifying thing, Savannah. Those bright eyes and that melodic laughter, all gone. Replaced with the scared, lost eyes of an infant buried alive in the empty mind of their future self. You're not even going to care if you ever looked good. You're going to be trapped in hell until you die. I envy you, Savannah. The deepest thing you worry about is your skin.
I mean the way your creativity is a compass that leads you to what you love, and you don't need any miracle cream to keep your passion smooth hair free,
And yet you still use them.
or diet pills to slim your kindness down. And when you start to drown in these petty expectations, you
I think I'm the wrong audience for slam poetry because this is just freaking me out.
I was just thinking the same thing. Who chose this weird video? Doctor? It was Doc, wasn't it?
4.5 million.
better re-examine the miracle of your existence, because you are worth so much more than your waistline.
Yeah, you are. Skinny girls are worth more than their waistline. Fat girls are worth less. It's inversely proportional. I think human women are the only animal on the planet that are less valuable the bigger they get. Because they're the only animals we don't treat like livestock.
You're worth the beautiful thoughts you think and the daring dreams you dream.
Go on, and what beautiful thoughts do you dream of, Savannah?
I'm done and drunk off alcohol of being, but sometimes we forget that.
Do I sound like that when I'm drunk? Everyone's lost you now. Like, if you're going on tangents like that, slow the fuck down. Let the words stretch their legs.
Because we live in a world where the media pulls us from the womb, nurses us, and teaches us our first words.
Alright, it's poetry. Yeah, no one ever said gish galloping is against the rules of poetry. It loses everyone. It certainly doesn't resemble a slam. It resembles this.
Skinny, pretty, girls soft, quiet, pretty.
Well, you've kind of got the soft and pretty down. You maybe just need to work on your quiet. And, you know, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
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 Skinny, pretty, girls soft, quiet, pretty.
Men's preference and body type lags women's by about a generation. So when women start to prefer thinner models, men eventually usually they start to prefer what their mothers prefer. I think. That's a little bit opedial, but it seems to be what it's suggesting. Anyway, they want a woman that their mother will approve of. So the beauty ideal is completely and utterly driven by women, not men. Men are just a convenient scapegoat because people like this can't face their own responsibility. Their own responsibility to tame their overactive vanity and narcissism, and just make the decision. Life is finite. We have to decide those qualities we are going to value in ourselves, because we can't be everything to everyone. And I think that's her real problem. She wants to be everything to everyone, and she wants to be the most beautiful, the fairest in the land, and she can't handle the thought that other women are more attractive than she is. How small a segment of the female population that actually is, but...
Boys' manly muscles.
And how did this become what guys look for in girls as a title, when you're now saying that boys also face standards? Why are you blaming men?
Pretty, but I don't care whether it's your gender.
Stop blaming it. If this is an internal thing, as you are saying, stop blaming the pressure externally.
Your looks, your weight, your skin, or where your love lies, none of that matters.
Matter doesn't matter. Even poetry can be said to have something akin to mathematical beauty in the balanced simplicity of its equations. Matter doesn't matter. So that's all you needed to say, those three little words. But instead, your words exploded into damp popcorn kernels of shit glitter. You're a very bad poet, Savannah. Very bad.
Because standards don't define you.
They can. Or at least some people define standards. Other people are defined by standards. And beauty is subject to the same paradox as funny. There's nothing less funny than someone trying too hard to be funny. And there's nothing more beautiful than someone who isn't even trying to be beautiful. And that, my queen, is why you will never be the fairest in the land.
You don't live to meet the credentials established by a madman. You're a goddamn treasure, whether you want to believe it or not.
I'm not a treasure. I'm capable of creating great things, if I put the work in, like anybody else. But I'm not a fucking treasure, and don't you dare say I am.
And maybe that's what everyone should start looking for.
I tend to be agreeing with you, lassie. We should all be hunting for treasure. Perhaps we'll find treasure buried in your booty.
Choose it up like a honey master. Spit it out into your copy pasta.
How dare you shill at the end of your own videos? Who does that? What kind of strumpetry is this, to put links to more content at the end of content? They're obviously just coaxing weak people into watching more content, like the drug pushers and whores they are. People should come to YouTube just to watch one video, then leave forever and kill themselves. And what's this? Patreon? No one else on YouTube swindles people into donating their money. If someone offers you a donation, you should say no. You don't get to help anyone. Sit down and shut up while I lecture you. But these swine, they even talk to the people who fund them. They give them rewards and what they call thank yous, like some kind of cult or something. And what's any of this even for? The 15 hours of content every week they're already broadcasting for free? Layabouts! Layabouts and abusers, all of you! You should watch my videos and donate to the people I like.